The ultimate limit to artificial intelligence in 2026 is no longer silicon chips or algorithms, it is industrial physics. A modern AI data center demands massive, continuous power delivered at 800 volts of direct current. 800 volts DC is a high-voltage electrical standard that allows facilities to move enormous energy loads directly to server racks with minimal conversion losses. These GPU training clusters operate on such a delicate margin that even a single microsecond drop in the electrical frequency will cause a severe disruption to the entire system. This equation shows the foundational physics governing this crisis, the power equation, derived from Ohm's law. Voltage represents the electrical pressure pushing through the circuit, while current represents the physical flow rate of that charge. Generating the exponentially higher power required by AI means you must physically force massive increases in either that pressure or that flow through real-world metal. The legacy utility grid lacks the physical capacity to handle this localized, high-density power surge. Securing a standard grid interconnection from heavily regulated utilities like AEP or Duke Energy currently takes 4 to 7 years of review and construction. To survive this delay, tech hyperscalers are executing a behind-the-meter strategy. Behind the meter refers to connecting a data center directly to a localized power plant to completely bypass the public utility grid. To understand the future of artificial intelligence, we have to stop looking at code and map the physical energy-to-bit value chain, tracing the flow of power from thermodynamic engines down to atomic metals. Solar photovoltaics act as the first responder to the AI power crunch because an independent producer can deploy a massive solar farm in exactly 18 months. AI data centers are now wiring directly into these solar farms at 800 volts DC to entirely bypass the energy losses that occur when converting direct current into alternating grid current. Artificial intelligence requires constant power 24 hours a day, making pure, intermittent daytime solar generation structurally insufficient on its own. This schematic shows the two core economic metrics of modern energy, LCOE on the left and LCOS on the right. LCOE, or levelized cost of electricity, calculates the lifetime average cost to generate new power. Utility-scale solar LCOE is now incredibly cheap, hovering between $25 and $60 per megawatt-hour. LCOS, or levelized cost of storage, calculates the lifetime average cost to store that existing electricity and discharge it later. This accounts for the heavy capital expenditures and efficiency losses required to store electrons in massive battery banks. When you combine these metrics, you hit $65 per megawatt-hour tipping point. At this price, solar combined with a BESS, a battery energy storage system used to hold utility-scale power, becomes cheaper than building a new gas peaker plant. Hyperscalers like Meta and Microsoft willingly pay independent power producers a 30 to 50% firming premium to guarantee that solar and battery power will flow continuously through the night. The actual cost bottleneck is no longer the solar panels, but the physical grid hardware, with wait times for high-voltage transformers stretching for years. The economics of solar are no longer about creating cheap daytime energy. They are about affording the massive batteries required to survive the night. Nuclear energy provides the ultimate zero-carbon baseload solution for these 24/7 hyperscale operations. This diagram shows the physical reality of a nuclear plant. It is not a magical battery, but a massive thermodynamic steam engine converting atomic heat into kinetic spin. In the primary loop, radioactive water is kept under extreme 15.5 megapascals of pressure to prevent it from boiling, even at temperatures exceeding 300 degrees Celsius. That heat transfers to the secondary loop, where a separate tank of clean water flashes into high-pressure steam to spin the electrical turbines. Finally, the tertiary loop cools the entire system back down, using nearby rivers or massive cooling towers. Tech giants are securing this continuous power through a power-as-a-service model, signing 20-year prepaid contracts for direct, behind-the-meter access to the reactors. Rapid nuclear expansion faces a severe physical bottleneck, the highly specialized fuel cycle constraint. Next-generation reactors require HALEU, which stands for high-assay, low-enriched uranium. This fuel is concentrated between 5 and 20% to power SMRs, or small modular reactors, which are scaled-down nuclear plants designed for faster factory-based construction. Following the ban on Russian fuel, the entire Western supply chain now relies on a single bottlenecked company for commercial HALEU enrichment. While nuclear power solves the physical transmission delay, it forces artificial intelligence companies to trade grid congestion for a highly sensitive, decade-long atomic supply chain risk. Gas turbines act as an instant-on firming shield, providing the immediate grid stability that prevents AI clusters from crashing during sudden power fluctuations. Utility-scale macro power relies on massive single-shaft turbines to provide heavy grid inertia, whereas edge data centers use micropower, agile two-shaft turbines that act as a mechanical clutch to quickly ramp up and down. These engines operate within an extreme thermodynamic moat, burning chemical energy at temperatures exceeding 1,500 degrees Celsius, a heat that would instantly vaporize ordinary steel. Surviving these temperatures requires highly specialized metallurgical science, specifically the manufacturing of blades grown from a single flawless crystal of superalloy. Wind energy serves as the critical renewable partner to both solar and gas in the AI power stack. This graph maps the core physical constraint of wind energy, the cube law. Because power output is proportional to the cube of the wind speed, building towers just slightly higher yields massive exponential power gains. Modern wind towers now exceed 180 meters in height to capture laminar flow. Laminar flow is the smooth, fast-moving layer of air located high above ground friction. Wind offers specific strategic value for data centers because it reliably generates a nighttime baseload, precisely when AI training loads hit their peak. Sustaining the illusion of infinite digital space requires a violent physical balancing act, the 1,500-degree blast of a gas turbine paired with the nighttime sweep of massive wind blades. Whether using solar cells, nuclear reactors, gas turbines, or data center switchgear, every single node in this system relies on exactly one element for conduction: copper. The global economy has transitioned from burning fuel for energy density to moving electrons for conduction intensity. While standard solar farms require 5 tons of copper per megawatt, AI data centers demand a staggering 27 tons of copper per megawatt. This massive material intensity has triggered a global systemic shortfall of 330,000 tons of copper in 2026. This chart exposes the wildly mismatched timelines between the software tech industry and the heavy physical infrastructure industry. Building a new cluster of GPUs takes roughly 12 months. Acquiring the high-voltage grid transformers required to power those specific GPUs takes up to 36 months. The ultimate bottleneck is the 17-year rule, which is the average time it takes to move a newly discovered copper mine into active production. To survive this deficit, mining companies are desperately deploying AI-driven chemical leaching to extract incremental ounces of copper from decades-old waste rock. The digital future is strictly gated by physical extraction. AI only moves as fast as iron digging in dirt.